Hi, I'm not sure if anybody's here. Is that too bright? Can I turn that off? Or then it'd be too dark. Maybe on is better. Not sure if anyone's gonna be here, and that's okay. I'm doing another one of these weird, spontaneous chat things that I do now. I can't figure out where I'm supposed to look. I can't remember. It's been so long since I filmed with my phone. Yeah. As with last time, I was basically just sort of like, I don't know, sitting on my couch feeling miserable and sorry for myself. Oh, that's a waste. Like that's a waste of time. So I decided I'd do this thing again. Hello, how are you? I know they're very spontaneous and time zones are a weird thing, so that's just how it is. But several of you have like messaged me saying that you really like these lives, and I've been finding them very helpful too. I don't know, yeah. This lockdown situation is like getting to me a lot more this time round than it has in a while. I'm just feeling very isolated, and I'm feeling a bit sad. So I thought I'd just pop on. I do have reading to do, but my concentration is a mess at the moment, so I'm not sure how likely it is that I'll actually get through anything. But I'll show you what I got. I mean, of course I've got my tea. I made a cup of tea. Let's hope that I remember to drink it before it goes cold. Then I have started, hello, how are you? I have started at the Existentialist Cafe, Freedom, Being and Apricot Cocktails by Sarah Bakewell. This is the Blossom Book Club book for the month of September. So the book club that I host over on my Patreon, we are reading this together this month. I've only read the first chapter, but I actually quite liked the first chapter, so that's good. Hi Jade, how are you? So I could read a bit of this. Although I do quite like it, I'm not sure it's quite enough to hold my attention when I'm in the sort of mood that I'm in at the moment. Same, haven't seen family since January 2020. Lives are good. Yes. Hi Tammy Pie. I'm lucky in that I can see my parents. They live quite close to me. But we try not to do it too often because we're supposed to be isolating as much as possible. We're in lockdown. But I haven't seen anyone else. Because I'm not from Melbourne originally, so most of my friends and family aren't here either. So I haven't seen them in ages. But I think it's also just like I'm not at work at the moment, which, is fun for a week, and then after that, hey mum, how are you? Janie Bell is my mum. Friends, say hello to my mum. I'm doing a spontaneous live chat because I was sitting on the couch feeling sorry for myself, and when I do that, I've started doing this thing where I hop on live and we read together, or we journal together, or we just hang out. And I only leave the live up for like a day, but other people have been finding it. Other people who are feeling a bit isolated and crappy at the moment have been finding it helpful too. So I'm surprised you're still awake, Mum. Mum's normally in bed by 9. It's 9:30. Lying in bed, unsuccessfully going to sleep. Haha, what is that book you were reading? I just missed the name. Dad said, can you see me? Is Dad okay? Just before I hopped on, Mum sent me a beautiful video of my dad dancing. So that definitely perked up my mood. He's a class act. But no, I can't see you, Dad. This is a one-way video thing. What was I? Hey Marsha, how are you? Did I tell you the book? sorry, I got distracted by visions of my dad dancing. At this Existentialist Cafe by Sarah Bakewell. I like it so far, but I've only read 35 pages, so make of that what you will. The other thing I started reading is on my Kindle, actually. I started finally reading the 4th book in the Murderbot Diary series, which you will know is one of my favourite things ever. I haven't read any Murderbot, I think, this year yet. I sort of read it a lot last year and loved it, and I was like sort of saving it because I didn't want the series to run out too quickly, because I think it's the best thing I've read in a long time. And I thought, with the mood that I'm in, I'm struggling to read, but Murderbot has always been a joy to read, so maybe that could, you know, suck me in enough to draw me along. And plus they're quite short, they're like novellas. Hey Veronica Jude, how are you? Oh good, good, everyone's good. Hi Pamela. The other thing I've been doing, which I think may be more likely, self-help affirmations all the time in Canberra but from Sydney, working remotely and being ill for 4 months. Ooh, happy that you're reaching out to support yourself. Yes. My cousin is in Canberra. We were just talking to her earlier tonight. We had a little family Zoom. It was nice. Is Mum still here? I don't know if Mum's still here. The other thing I've been doing lately, I've just started this week, is, oh my goodness. I went from not having read a tarot book since Queering the Tarot last year to reading Andy Matzner's tarot activity book to ordering this tome. It's huge. It's massive. It's like 450, 60 pages, but it's also just, like, can you see the size of it? It's Tarot for Transformation by Andy Matzner. And he basically goes through the major arcana, and there's a bunch of just sort of discussion about like a theme for each card, and journaling prompts and sort of that sort of stuff, I guess. So I've done the Fool so far, and like he really impresses upon you the importance of not rushing through it. So I'm trying to do just as he's asked. So wait, where's the table of contents, so I can tell you a little bit about the, yeah, so the Fool was mindfulness. The Magician is becoming the hero of your own life. The High Priestess is intuition, rhythm, and time management. The Empress, making peace with food and eating. So it's sort of like that more psychological, thanks Mom. This is like a crappy jumper that I really didn't like because it's not the color I thought it was when I ordered it, but it was so cozy, so it's now my home jumper. I pretty much wear it every day, except when I wash it. Obviously I'll wash it, but then I wear it mostly. It's my favorite thing, it's so cozy. Yeah, I think for a while, you guys know how I sort of slowed down on my tarot practice like mid last year to mid this year. I sort of didn't really use tarot much, and I wasn't on YouTube much as a result as well. There was sort of like different things going on. But I do think one of the factors, there's lots of different factors, but I do think one of them is that I think I sort of lost my way a little bit with how I like to use tarot. I should probably keep an, I'm dying to try this one. Oh good, it's so good. I've been slowly working through it. Okay, nice. That's on my wish list. Yes, I'd heard of Andy Matzner before, and he actually offered to send me a book years ago. He emailed me and was like, hey, can I send you my book? And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. And then I sent him my address, and he's like, oh, it's really pricey to send to Australia. Maybe not. I was like, okay, man, whatever. I get that a lot, actually. I'm like, is it a surprise? Like, can you not hear my accent, or do people just not? I don't know. Anyway, seems like a lovely person. I'm not hating on Andy. But yeah, so I finally got around to reading the activity guidebook. what was I saying? Oh, my path, that's right. Kind of matches the book, doesn't it? It does a little bit, I suppose. Yeah, like we're getting very distracted today, aren't we? That's okay. Yes, my practice. I think I got a little off track with how I like to use tarot and what tarot means to me. I do like experimenting with different approaches to tarot. I think that's a good thing to do. I think it gets us out of our box. It gets us like exploring the cards in new ways, gets us trying different like methods, and some of those will revolutionize our practice and others won't be for us, you know? Like, I think that trial and error and experimentation is part of what enriches our tarot practice. But having said that, I do think it's also important to have a good sense of what it is that you want from tarot and what tarot means to you. And obviously that can evolve over time, but I think I lost that, like, sight of that a little bit for me. I think in the last probably 2-3 years, there's definitely been a big switch from, I think when I first got into Tarot Tube, Kellyanne was definitely sort of like the tastemaker, you know, like she was definitely the person that people were looking to. And I think she still is in a lot of ways, but I don't think she's the only one anymore. I'm not sure if she was the only one, but she was the main one, how I remember it anyway. And Kellyanne sort of rehabilitated the idea of the Rider-Waite-Smith for a lot of people, I think. The Rider-Waite-Smith was not really in favour. These things come and go, but I'm just giving you context for when I entered the tarot sphere. The Rider-Waite-Smith wasn't in favour, and I can't really remember what the approach was beforehand. I think it was pretty psycho-spiritual sort of lens, but I don't think it was only that. And I think Kellyanne definitely sort of cemented, or I don't know, advocated for, let's put it that way, not only the Rider-Waite-Smith, but her approach of that psycho-spiritual, very heavily like informed by psychological principles, and wanting to be helpful from a psychological sort of perspective. And that is definitely how I like to use tarot. And I think in the last few years, that has sort of fallen out of favor again, which is fine. These things come and go, like not fads, but trends happen, and that's fine. And I do think that the tarot, like the larger tarot sphere, the conversation was almost like the psychology of tarot is the only way to read tarot. It's the only legitimate way to read tarot because fortune telling is unethical or whatever, that sort of stuff. I think some tarot readers used the psychological lens to try and legitimize tarot. I think that's my sense that I sometimes get. But in so doing, they sort of denigrated the more fortune telling practices, that sort of stuff that a lot of people value really highly. And so naturally when that stuff sort of comes back, it's almost got to like fight against the thing that is at the forefront of people's minds, and that was the psychological approach. Am I making any sense, or am I just rambling? This is the first time I'm sort of thinking this through out loud, so I don't know. Hello, welcome to my ramble. I might get to journaling at some point, like the title says. For now, I'm just rambling. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense. But anyway, in the last few years, I think people like Tom Benjamin is an incredible example. I think Kelly from The Truth in Story to an extent too. I'm trying to think of like the really big names. I think they'd be the two big ones that have sort of started to shift the conversation more towards embracing more practical readings, which entails that more fortune-telling approach. Whether you call it that or not, I'm just trying to keep it as simple as possible. And also things like the Marseille, Lenormand, that sort of stuff has become much more popular. And like anyone, I am curious and like to play around with ideas. I've long been a fan of Tom Benjamin. You've heard me stan him how many times. I tried to like sort of dial it down before I sounded like I was obsessed with him. Plus he's doing well enough on his own. He doesn't need me telling everybody how great he is. Like I'm a big fan of Tom Benjamin and Kelly. Like I love watching YouTube, like Tarot Tube. And so I was experimenting and playing around with different ideas as well. But I do think at the end of the day, I came to tarot, and what I love tarot for is how much it's helped me with maintaining my mental wellness. I've shown you so many times in different videos how I've used tarot in that therapeutic tarot way, they call that. You can call it whatever you like, but how I use tarot to sort of problem solve, to sort of like help me like navigate and understand my own like mental, emotional landscape, so that I can better figure out what it is that I need, so that I can better figure out like whether it is I need to like go for a walk with mum, or whether I need to like delete Instagram. Like tarot helps me with that. It helps me take care of myself without always having to rely on my psychologist, I guess. It's helped me like just practice things like mindfulness, self-reflection, and I think I lost sight of that for a little while. And coming back to tarot this year, especially with the lockdowns and all the stresses of stuff that's been happening, and then on top of that with my psychologist going on to maternity leave, so I just don't have access to her for a few months, tarot has become this incredible tool for me again, of like helping me just, I don't want to repeat myself, but just, yeah, doing all the things that I need that support with. It's like, yeah. Let me read the chat for a second. Happy to listen anytime. Lovely. Making sense. Cheers, Mum. That's why I love Reader's Studio in New York. We all just mix together and learn and have fun. Nice, Veronica. I'd love to go to something like that one day. I was rewatching your therapeutic tarot videos yesterday. I love them so much. Wish there were more, but the ones up give so much. Thanks, Pamela. I'm not sure if I'll do more therapeutic tarot videos. I mean, I have a lot of notes, and obviously I use tarot in lots of other ways too. So I have the content, I just don't know. I don't know. I love that series. I'm glad you enjoy it too. Kelly Fitz is a wonderful teacher, and so is Tom Benjamin. Camilla Elliott, sorry, it's far away, so I can't really see her. Elias, I think, is my sensei. She's really good too. Nice. I don't know who that person is, but yes. That's why I use and love tarot also. I took a year break, but I'm so glad to be using my tools again too. Yeah, I think that's how I feel. It's like, I do want to continue to sort of, Dad said, can you see me? Oh my God, Dad, is he okay? No, Dad. He's such a dag. I love you, Dad. Does he think we're on Zoom again? We had a Zoom chat with the family this afternoon. And so maybe he thinks we're on Zoom again. If I was on StreamYard, I'd be able to send you a link and then you could hop on, but I'm not. Sorry, Nev. Jokes. Okay, right. Sorry. Yes. His humor is just such, it's so complex and nuanced, you know? Like it's, you really gotta be on your ball to pick it all up. I'm having a tea, Nev. Not in the cup you got me. He gets it now. Okay. Yeah. I feel like I just said an awful lot. Oh, bless him, your dad, Katie, yes. He's the best. Did I tell you guys once, you know how I don't know if you saw, but I posted on Instagram after my first vaccination. I think I mentioned it on the channel too, where I was discriminated against. It was an awful experience. It was humiliating, it was belittling, it was demeaning, it was heartbreaking, it was all of the things. And Mum and Dad called me afterwards to see if I was all right, and I was a mess. I was sobbing in the street, in the rain. I couldn't figure out how to get home. I was just distraught because it was a horrible experience. Mum and Dad were furious. They were ready to like go to war for me. Luckily they didn't. They just came to pick me up. And then I cried in the car, and then they dropped me home. But then later, my parents did two things. Mum sent a long ass email to our premier to let him know she wasn't happy with the way her daughter was treated. And my dad video called me at about 10 p.m. to see if I was okay, and to just play me some songs that he'd learned on guitar by my favourite band, The Cure. to just cheer me up a little bit. Those are my parents. So clearly, like, that's just one example. That's just one night. They're basically the best. I hope you don't mind me sharing that, Mum, but yeah, I think it's a pretty good example of why my parents are the greatest and I'm the luckiest. Anyway. Gets me all emotional. You have great parents. I do. I do. I'm very lucky. Hi, Lenore. I don't know if I said hello to you earlier. Janie. I keep giggling at your name, Janie Bell. Dad's crying now. Well, I get emotional too, but just, yeah, like that was, you know how like that example I give of Annie sending me tea when I was in hospital? Just those small things that you never ever forget, that just stay with you, that remind you that the people who love you, that they're there for you. It's like that was what that was for me. It was, yeah. It was pretty incredible. Love you, Dad. Love you, Mum. Wow, says Katey's mum's here. Goals for so many. Yes, she is. She is. She's Janie Bell. Her name is Janine, but there was a joke where she kept getting called Janie Bell over the loudspeakers at an airport one time, even though that's not her name. So yeah, now it's sort of a nickname. It's very cute. Family love, yes. Yes, those small things are the hugest. Exactly. Yeah. Ah, it got all sentimental. Oh, I miss you both a lot. I miss just hanging out, you know. Miss Dad making me tea and me overstaying my welcome and practicing my K-pop on your patio. Like, I just miss things. I miss little things, but anyway. So yeah, this book, I think the activity book and then this book, as well as my Keep or Cull series, which I'm thinking of renaming, but my point is these things have really sort of helped me get back on track with my tarot practice. And like, I don't think there's anything wrong with like me having had a break. I think like Veronica Jude, you said sometimes it's just, what, you didn't say this, you said you took a break. And I think sometimes it's nice to sort of like take a step back from the things that we love and that we like spend so much time doing, and just sort of like having some space from those things so that when we can come back to them with like a fresh perspective, a renewed love, a renewed excitement, a renewed passion. And I feel like I've definitely done that. I'm loving tarot at the moment more than I have in a long time, and that is because I think I've like reconnected to what tarot is for me and why it's so important to me. It helps you get perspective when you pause. Yes, absolutely. And I think as much as I'm a big advocate for this tarot community online, I know there's a lot of shit talking about us, and some of the criticism is totally valid and I think it's important. But I'm a big advocate for us. I think we're a pretty great collective. It's not always perfect and that's okay, but I love us. I'm not gonna lie. And I've learnt so much from the people that I watch. I value so highly how we have so many people here who are so willing to share so much of themselves and their practice and their ideas and their associations and their connections to the cards. I value that so highly. Partly like because I know how much time and effort that takes, but also just because like we have such a wealth and breadth of knowledge and wisdom and perspectives, and I think it's incredible how much knowledge and insight we have access to with a click of a button. Like, I can go watch a Tom Benjamin video and learn about his tarot on earth and, you know, his practical readings and using 3 cards instead of 1, and then I can go over and watch some of Kellyanne's old videos and, you know, like, and then all of the new channels too, and I don't know, and Will from Atypical Tarot is another big favorite of mine, and I don't know, it's just so much good content on here. I can't get over it and I really need to blow my nose, so just oh no, can I mute this? I don't know how to mute. Oh no, I'm on my phone instead of my, oh yeah, I can. I want to mute it so you don't hear my blowing my nose. I'll just be a second. I am my father's daughter. This is how my lives go every time, Mum. Like every half hour, I have to blow my nose. Thanks, Dad. I got your nose and I hate it. Love you though. Good morning, Katie. First cup of coffee with you. Lovely, welcome. Tarot was my wooby blanket. I had to let it go for a bit. Wooby blanket, I've never heard that term. I like it though. Your deck review video was hilarious. On my unboxing. Yeah. That was fun. It was fun making a bit of a parody video. The last like funny video I made was last year. Do you remember when I made the top 10 decks for the end of the world or something? That was like at the beginning, or not the beginning of the pandemic, but when it first sort of like started impacting Australia at least. Apparently when I'm sad, I make really bad jokes. That's what I do. It's springtime, it is. But you know Dad and I do that all the time anyway. Like, thanks for making excuses for me, I appreciate it. Dad says you're welcome. No. You gave me a lot of things, and I appreciate many of them. The nose is not one of them. Discovered Tarot Tube during this lockdown. Has been a saving grace during lockdown. Wonderful. I feel like it was similar for me when I discovered Tarot Tube. Obviously completely different circumstances, but I came across it when I was like in hospital and like in and out of hospital. So I was very isolated. So obviously it's very different circumstances, but I think that's part of why I have such a connection to it, is because it really helped me through a really difficult time. It helped me feel a lot less alone. Yeah. I love us too, yes. All right, did you want to just keep chatting, or should we like actually do some reading and journaling? I don't know. I don't mind. I'm a bit scatterbrained today. I'm really struggling to read and concentrate, but I could probably do some journaling. I don't know, let me know what everybody wants to do. I'm open. Until about 11 o'clock when I'll crash and need to go to bed, clearly. I'm still so impressed, Mum, that you're still awake. On a Sunday evening too. Do you have tomorrow off? Is that maybe? Go for it. Go for what? Go for the chatting or for the journaling? Well, I have 20 pages in my book to finish. Oh, that is a compelling argument, Marsha. That is a compelling argument. Gotta drink my tea before it goes cold. We all know. We all know. Oh, nice. I'll pop round and see Henry. Now, poor, you know our poodles. I think everybody's seen the poodles, whether it's in my vlogs or on Instagram. Henry's 12, and he's not feeling very well at the moment. So I would like to visit him. I have the big boy, which is Holistic Tarot. Oh, that is a chunky book. Is it good? I've never read it. I really love some of Benabelle's videos. Like a lot of Benabelle's videos. But I've never read the book. I think I read bits of it, but I don't really remember. Loving your floral mug, Katie. What tea are you having? Thank you. This was the first cup I bought myself when I moved to Melbourne, because I, you know, first moved out of home, moved across the country to a city I'd never been to before. I was feeling very grown up. I needed a fancy cup. So I got this Royal Albert 1940s pattern. I think it's 1940s, yeah. 50% off at Myers. So this is 9 years old now. I love it. And I'm just drinking a decaf English breakfast. I love it. Dad, I have a couple of these Royal Albert Decades collection mugs now. I found another one exactly the same in Savers. So I have two of this pattern. And then I have a 1990s one, which is like my decade that I was born. And then my dad, for Christmas a couple of years ago, got me the 1910s one, which is the black one. If you've seen me with a cut with black around the edge. Because my great-grandmother and his grandmother, who we both were really connected to, was born in the 1910s. So he bought me that mug for Christmas, which is very meaningful. And my dad's just the best. So this is my celebrate Katey's dad and mum live stream. Whatever makes you happy, we have fun when you do. General get better. General get together, yes. I miss Save It. I know. I love Melbourne so much. Kills me I can't visit. And Royal Albert, fancy. I know. I felt so grown up. I was 21 and buying myself a Royal Albert mug. I learned a lot from Holistic Tarot so far, so I think it's good, but I'm also a beginner on and off on tarot since 2018. Awesome. It seems like the sort of book that is more of a reference rather than a read from cover to cover, although I'm sure you could approach it however you like. I miss Savers too, Mum, so much. Oh my God. That's like mine and Mum's favourite thing to do, is just go for a walk. And we usually walk along the river or around the back streets of Footscray, but we always end up at Savers. And then Mum gets too much Vietnamese coffee and feels sick and has to go home. That's how the story ends. She loves her Vietnamese coffee. You wouldn't have had one in a while, hey? My tea's starting to get cold. It happens every time, every live stream. I talk too much. It's kind of like a textbook of tarot. Yes. I remember hearing that she actually wanted to call it something different. Not Holistic Tarot, but it was the publishers who were like, no, we're going to call it Holistic Tarot. Which is interesting. Because I have always thought of Annabelle as much more like specific and targeted rather than holistic. And that's not like a judgment either way. Just, yeah. Interesting. Lol. Yeah. I miss our walks, Mum. I miss hanging out. I miss everything. Well, I reckon we should do a bit of journaling. I'm keen. I've got my book, I've got my diary or my journal. I just like picked up an old one that I hadn't really written much in and figured I'd get stuck in. I'm so sorry you're in lockdown there. I mean, thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, it's sort of one of those things where it's like, it sucks. It really sucks, especially when it goes on for so long. But it's still preferable to the alternative when we don't have high vaccination rates, you know? So, yeah. It's just, it's not fun. And it's sad when it goes on for so long. But I'd still rather that. I love you too, Mum. Are you heading off? Or are you just so overcome with your adoration of me? Okay, yes, you are heading off. Good night, Mum. I love you. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. That's nice. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, Dad. Alright, I can end the live stream now because it was just the family catch-up really, wasn't it? No, I'm kidding. Okay, I really need to drink my tea because it's going cold. Love you. That was pretty cute. Dad says bye. Oh, you're still here. Good night, Katey's mum. You're so awesome. Very true. How fun. Had a little surprise cameo from the true star of my channel. Every time she's in my vlogs, everyone's just like, oh my god, your mum's so cool. I'm like, I know. And then my dad leaves comments. Have you in at least one of my vlogs, I saw it on my Bateman's Bay vlog. I did a vlog with Mum and I did a trip to Bateman's Bay last year. Was it last year or the year before? I don't know. Anyway, that I vlogged. And in the comments, Dad is just like, oh, that's a good looking lady, that Janine, yeah. Like, and I have to comment underneath, like just confirming, like, this is my dad. It's not some creepy internet guy like coming on to my mum. It's okay. I love it. It's so funny. Oh, this live stream is a mess. I love it. Moderna vaccine available from the 20th of September. More freedom soon. We'll be able to see our family and friends IRL. Hug our favourite people. Yes, yes. We're getting there slowly but surely. And your mood has brightened so much already talking with your mum. Yes, and talking with you guys too. But yes, yes. This is why I come on, because I can't be sad and mopey by myself on the couch if I'm chatting with you lovely people. And especially when my mum pops in. How can you be sad when that happens? What a delight. Hello, Lisa, how are you? I'm just doing a messy late night live because I was sad and now everybody's cheered me up, so it's good. And I'm going to do some tarot journaling. And I don't know, everybody let me know what you're going to read or what you're going to do while we hang out for a little while. That is lovely to hear. Lisa is, I know I mentioned in my favorites, but if anybody missed it, I had a reading from Lisa. I don't order readings very often, and I didn't really know what to expect because I didn't know much about Lisa, but it was really good and very helpful. Highly recommend. Good night, good morning on my side. Hello. Yes, it's nice and late here, but I know it is nice and early for many of you. Plan a mobility walk for 9 AM. Nice. That is a good project to have. Sorting out bits for my live later. Trying some new streaming software. It's 1 PM here. Oh, lovely. I need to figure out something with streaming. I know I can use my fancy camera for streaming. I still just keep using my phone. But I hope your live stream goes well. Hi from Adelaide. Hello. Hi, Rhiannon. I'm minus 14 hours from you. Yes. So it's a Sunday morning. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. I love the, oh God, this book is massive. The illustrations in here, they're really simple, but they're sweet. That's the Magician. God, this book is huge. I like it though, because the text, I feel like if you tried to, you know, fit it into a small book, the text would be really small and difficult. And there's the Fool. It's kind of cute, hey? Like all the classic symbolism is there. It's just cute. I like it. Thank you. So happy the reading was good. What's the book? The book is Tarot for Transformation by Andy Matzner. It's huge. He basically goes through and talks about the major arcana with different sort of life skills attached to each one, and he just discusses them a little bit, offers some insight, and then gives you a lot of journaling to do. Hi Katie, I'm in lockdown hotspot in Sydney. This convo cheered me up, been feeling mopey. Aw, Christy, I hope you're doing okay. I'm glad we got you to crack a smile. Hopefully it won't be for too much longer, hey? Take care, yeah? Simple illustrations make me happy, for sure. That sounds great. It is. I've only done the Fool. I only got this book this week. And he makes note several times not to rush through it. So my all or nothing energy, I'm trying to pace myself through it. Trying to do like a couple of cards a week. That's my idea. I might do a bit more, but I don't want to do like multiple a day. I feel like I just want to like let each lesson sink in a bit, mull over them. But I did get my good old trusty Rider Waite Magician out, and I am also working with the Star Spinner and the Fauna Bell Tarot at the moment. I'm thinking I might get the Star Spinner Magician out, just so I've got... You don't really need to for these exercises, or at least you didn't for the Fool. I just like to have them just to sort of like anchor my exploration as I go through. That sounds amazing. I like using tarot for shadow work. I might have to check that out. Nice. Yes, I use it a lot for my mental health stuff, so similar sort of approach. I just bought the Kindle edition now. Nice. You'll have to let me know how the formatting is, just so that I know for if anybody asks me in the future. Because I'm always, you know, sometimes Kindle books can be incredible and sometimes they're a mess. What's the book again? I can't lift it up. Hang on. I'll lift it up one more time just for you. It's Tarot for Transformation by Andy Matzner. Curious if you feel like sharing, how do you manage all or nothing energy? It's something I've always struggled with. I'm getting better, but I love other people's input. That is a big question, my friend. And I think it very much depends on the situation itself. I think sometimes my all or nothing energy can be like not a terrible thing. But for me, I think it can be tied to my symptoms of bipolar too. So I just have to be careful. You know, if I'm all the time, then maybe I need to like check in with myself. And if I'm nothing all of the time, also maybe need to check in with myself. No, not sorry. Don't apologize. I just meant I don't know that I can give you a good answer here. That's all. It really depends. It really, really does. Depends on what's going on, like what I'm all or nothing about and why. Because I can get, part of bipolar 2 is like obsessive thoughts and that sort of stuff, so I can get very like hooked on something. I don't tend to too much anymore. I'm a lot better than I used to be. I guess it's just that insight and awareness of like my brain tends to do something that can be unhealthy, so I have to bring that awareness to it so that I can make sure I'm like, because the more aware of something you are, the more control you have over it, right? Or the more sort of like boundaries or parameters you can put in place so that it doesn't become toxic to you. And I think tarot is really good at helping me with that. So tarot is one answer to that very big question. A lot of DBT and CBT practices as well. I have done one of the videos I did for the Therapeutic Tarot series is called Wise Mind, the Wise Mind spread. Wise Mind is sort of all about and instead of but. All about sort of not those two, not thinking about black and white, not thinking in that sort of really stark, divided, good, bad, like perspective. So that Wise Mind spread can be quite helpful with that if I'm struggling. Those are a few answers to a very, very good question, but a big one. Have a wonderful day. I hope you have a lovely day off tomorrow. Was that to me? Thanks, Lenore. I'm off work while we're in lockdown. Bookshops are having it rough, so no work for me at the moment. I have bipolar 1 and autism. All or nothing is common for me too. Yeah, it's definitely something that I think a lot of us struggle with, especially with diagnoses like ours and yours. Yeah. That makes complete sense. I can relate, although not with bipolar. It's related to my own issues. Thank you so much. You're more than welcome. I hope I said something of value there. Okay, Lenore, have a lovely day. Thanks for popping in. It was lovely to have you. Take care. We'll see you next time. Okay, I was looking for the magician card. This deck is so heckin' pretty. This is the deck that I'm doing my next Keep or Cull on. Although I'm thinking of changing the name of that series. For me, self-awareness is the basis of mental health support. I've learnt to recognize when my depressive cycle is in the early stages, and then I can try to put some techniques in place. Absolutely. That's so important. I think like, that's a big part of why I think for me, I feel a lot more confident in my mental health these days. Not because I don't have bipolar anymore, but because I know my early warning signs so much better. And I have so many tools that I can utilize when I recognize those early warning signs. So I don't have to get into the really terrible place I was in 2013 again before I'm like, oh shit, maybe I need help, you know? So like that self-awareness is absolutely so key, and then developing the tools and techniques that we like can go to when we recognize those things. I totally agree with you. Here we go. Here's our Magician. This deck is so pretty and I'm so excited to use it. I think it's such a cool spring deck, like obviously going to spring in the Southern Hemisphere. Just the colors, very spring, summery. And here's our Magician from the Star Spinner. I don't know if you can see that very well. I know the lighting in here is atrocious, but that's okay. I give you all the quality in my actual videos. I do my best. I just want to keep the lives chill. Oh, there's so much like action happening in this card. There's like cards flying up. There's like magic happening in the cup, and he's got all the tools obviously too. So much movement. I love it. It's invigorating. All right. Also this backing. I love it. This deck is so good. So good. And it was so affordable too. It was like $35 Australian or something. Amazing. Amazing. From memory. I could have gotten that wrong, but that's how I remember it. Very energetic pose. Yes, it's a lovely card. Vibrant and energetic. Absolutely. I really like it. So, got my two Magicians here. And I'm going to get stuck into the journaling. Hi Katie, hello. Hello fellow Melburnian, hope you're doing okay. We've just been chatting for, I was supposed to be journaling, but I've been chatting for nearly an hour. The formatting in the Kindle edition is great. Good to know, thank you so much for letting me know. It's just easier so that I can feel a bit more confident recommending it to people, you know. Because I'm sure this book will probably come up in a favorites or a review or something at some point on my channel, so it's nice to know. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that information. Okay, friends. If you're reading, it's time to do a bit of reading. If you're journaling, it's time to do a bit of that. Whatever you're up to, we're just gonna hold each other accountable, not go on Instagram, get a little bit of productive time in. That's the plan. All right. I'm going to, should I put it on mute like I normally do so that you don't, yeah, I'll put it on mute. Good afternoon from the UK, hello. We're just gonna do a bit of reading or journaling, or you can fold the laundry, whatever you like to do. I'm doing a bit of reading and journaling. Me reading, nice, good. Okay, you can finally, was it you who had 20 pages left? I think it was. You can get stuck into that. I'm gonna put it on mute so you can't hear me like sniffling or anything. And we can check back in with each other in like, I don't know, however long I can hold my concentration for. I'm hoping like 20 minutes, maybe, give or take a bit. But that's what we're gonna do, okay? All right, I'll talk to you soon. I don't remember how to put mute on. There we go. How'd everybody go? I think that was about half an hour. I actually finished the chapter on the magician. I thought it would take longer. The fool took me much longer. But just going with the flow, really. Queen of Hydration. Skylar Hayes. I love you. I have nothing to say to that. One of the few reasons I'm sad that I deleted Instagram is that I see fewer dog pictures and I don't talk to you anymore. My mental health is better, but I don't think it's because I'm not talking to you. I think it's because I was scrolling. Although, who knows? No. Happy Sunday morning to you. I'm actually reading a story I'm currently writing, but it needs fixing, so much fixing. The editing process. I say that like I know. I don't know. Other than like essays I've written at uni or whatever, but no. Marsha, did you get to finish your book? I hope you did. Did Skylar just say Queen of Hydration and leave? Classic Skylar. Well, yeah, that was actually kind of emotional. I was trying not to cry on camera. I did too much of that in our last live stream. This section was all about on how we are the hero in our own life. And so we had to explore what a hero meant to us, talking about some people that we consider heroes in our own lives, and why that is, and then talking a little bit about like our own positive traits, I guess, and then on to some of the challenges we've experienced in life and how we've overcome them, and having some pride in ourselves, I guess. So I suppose I sort of skipped over a little bit because one part of it was like writing your story from like a challenge or obstacle you came, starting from like the darkest point, and then you know, talking about that experience, what you learned from it. I've told you before that I've like literally written a speech out of my mental health journey, so I didn't feel like I needed to write that story out again, so I just instead focused it on like what I'd learned from it, sort of summarizing. So that's probably why it took me a little bit quicker than it could have, but yeah, it was really emotional. And because we had mum and dad in the chat earlier, when I was asked to write about people I admire, of course I wrote about my parents. So I got a little teary-eyed there. But much future plans within it depends on the quality of what was written before. Sad times. Oh, I believe in you. I'm sure you can make it work. Hey, good morning. Just joined during the last sprint. Lovely to have you. Hello. We've only done one sprint because I spent nearly an hour talking and my mum was on the live chat, so I was chatting to my mum. So we've only done one. I think we're only going to do one tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Sounds like something I would do. I'm reading Tender is the Flesh. Sounds like... Tender is the Flesh. What's this? I've not heard of it. By Augustina Bazterrica. I did not say that name correctly, and I am sorry to everybody I offended. Working at the local processing plant, Marcos is in the business of slaughtering humans. Okay, wow. That's intense. Oh, I have some friend requests on GoodReads. Heather. Approve, Heather. And Christy. Approve. Got 2 new friends on GoodReads. Sweet. Okay, I should probably come back to the chat now. Yes, Katie, I finished my Leopard Warrior book just seconds ago. Fabulous. Good timing. I'm reading that one, Skylar. To Skylar. So intense. It's so scary. It's, oh my goodness. I'm not really a fan of horror. The closest thing I've ever read to horror is Her Body and Other Parties by Machado. Someone Machado. It's collection of short stories, and it's got like a lot of body gore and stuff in it. But I really liked that. I really liked that. But I don't like scary movies. I don't like scary. I don't like being scared. I think maybe because I have generalized anxiety disorder, so I'm terrified all the time. I don't need a book to help me out with that, you know? I don't enjoy that feeling. I don't know. I'm only 40% of the way in. It's not too bad at the moment, but it's just such a brutal subject matter. Okay, lovely. I think that might not be a book for me. Good to know. Hope you guys are enjoying it though. Ugh. 2 major arcana down. Only 19 to go. I wonder how long this book will take me to get through. I really like it so far. It's definitely less focused on tarot than I think I was expecting it to be. I mean, obviously the structure is around the 22 major arcana. How long have I been reading tarot for? The 22 major arcana cards. And there's a little bit of discussion early on, at least there was with the Fool and the Magician, about what that card means generically. But it moves pretty quickly on into like the theme. So like, for example, the Magician becoming the hero of your own life. Which obviously like is a way to connect to the cards. Sort of delving into this theme and how it connects to the card. And like that's why I've wanted to have my cards out so I can sort of anchor my exploration in that way. But it's not as like, the Magician has all his tools. What are the tools that you have? You know, like it's not that explicitly connected to tarot the whole way through. Does that make sense? Yeah. I like it though so far. One thing I will say though is that the author does use a lot of like gendered binary language, which we all know I don't love. That was almost a song. Which we all know I don't love. There's a lot of talking about like combining opposites and feminine and masculine. There was more of that in the Fool discussion from memory. But even just like gendering the Magician as a he, I don't think that that's necessary, especially in a book like this. So if I had a choice, that would be removed. But other than that, I do really like it. I just feel like that's worth pointing out because that's something I would rather be different. Although I don't know when this was published. I don't know. 2020, okay. Nah, that criticism stands. That book is huge. Yes, it's about 450 pages, but it's like, it's massive. The writing though, I think it's good because the writing isn't too small. I think that's partly to make it more accessible, but also, you know, because it is designed as a workbook, so you could do your journaling in the book, I suppose. I mean, there's not like dedicated lines or anything. You know how some books like literally like, below, write 13 lines about your life story. It's not like that, but I think there's sort of space for you to take notes and stuff, I guess. But I've decided to do it in a journal just so I can, I don't know, I think that's, I'll get more out of it that way. And also there's the opportunity then to return to this and sort of like redo the book at a later stage without getting too distracted by my previous answers. I'll still have my previous answers in my journal, but yeah, it'll be separate. Also means that I could lend it out to anybody if I ever have a friend or something that wants to play around with it. Whereas some of the stuff that it's sort of getting you to write about is a bit personal, and I'm not sure that I would want to share the book with all of that in it. I use tarot. It is fun and gives great insights also for writing. Yes, nice. Giant margins, yeah. And also like just the text is quite large and like it's well spaced out. Like it's not all, you know, it's not like, this isn't the worst, but it's not like this. After all, tarot and the hero's journey are connected. They are for a lot of people too, and you can certainly make the connection for sure. Are you on GoodReads? Amy, I want to hear your thoughts in the end. We're making GoodReads friends. Nice, cute, I love it. I'm getting distracted by GoodReads again. Stop it. I am. I'll pop a link here. Hopefully should come up. I know sometimes links get banned. Hang on, let me make you a moderator and then you'll be able to post a link. I can take you out off a moderator if you like, Amy, but I don't think you can post a link in the chat unless you're a moderator, if that makes sense. So I'll make you a mod so you can share it. All right, nice. Let me know if you want me to take the mod off you. I mean, I should have more mods, but I can make you not a mod. I think. Yeah, I can. I'm also ordering Carpentaria. Are you really gonna read it? Oh my god. Some people really hate it, but like, I think it's incredible. And can you please talk to me when you're done? Because like the ending, I was so like, it sort of just finishes like any other book finishes, but I was just like left with a very particular thought or feeling or message. And I didn't know how to talk about it. And I certainly didn't know how to talk about it without spoiling it. So I'd be curious to see how you sort of interpret it. It's rough though, take your time. I found it really hard. I ended up having to listen and read at the same time because I found it dense, but it's good. You're ready, I believe in you. I like working in a separate notebook since then I have as much space to write as I want. Yes, absolutely. For this I've decided to sort of, I hope you can't see too much of my, but I'm writing out notes that I'm like jotting down from the book in black pen. And then anything that I'm answering or making note of myself, I'm writing in blue pen. Just so I can sort of see that without having to write each time, like from the book or, you know, question to, like, I'm finding that easier so I can just sort of like glance at it and see what's directly from the book, whether it's a prompt or just something that I wanted to jot down, and what's me, basically. So I'm finding that a helpful sort of very simple and easy way, especially because I have one of these like 3 color pens. Can I add you too, Amy? Or I'm going to add you too. You can say no to me if you want. Don't worry, I won't take it personally. I'm all for color coding. Yes, I think it's I love these, like, these 3 color pens are my favorite. I use them all the time. Amy, do you want me to make you not a mod or do you not care? Let me know. I mean, not that we really get too many trolls, but I really should have more mods just in case. But no pressure, you don't have to be one, like, not at all. I read a lot of smuts to be warned. Fantastic. I don't read enough of it. Happy either way. Okay, cool. I'll leave you as one just because I trust you and I think it's good to have mods. And also, like, even just sort of like seeing that there is a mod in the chat, I think does deter some dickheads, you know? A lot of slash fic. Ooh. I definitely want to add you now. Oh, look at Amy. It's getting all the GoodReads friends. Nice. Anyone can add me. Good, good. If you want, Amy, I just want to like make sure you're informed. You can do whatever the hell you want. But if you'd like to, you can delete your link from the chat if you want to. Just because I'm going to leave this chat up for a while. So the chat will be like available for people for the next 24 hours. I don't know, I might leave it up long term. So you're welcome to leave it there if you'd like to. Totally fine. But if you want it just to be like the people who are here now to know it, you can delete it because I don't think you'll be able to delete it later. Just wanted to let you know. But do whatever you like. I don't care. I just wanted to let you know. Yeah. What a live chat this has been. Chatting with my mum and my dad. Hanging out, talking about my whole journey with tarot, coming back to tarot, why I took a break from tarot, doing some journaling with the magician. It's been pretty good. No worries, I just didn't want you to like be getting like heaps of requests in like a day or two and you'd be like, ugh. But I mean, maybe you do, I don't know. Yeah, I'm enjoying this book so far. I think I'll just like keep working my way through it steadily. I might do a review in the end once I get through it. I'm not sure, we'll see. Super cool live chat it's been. Thanks so much for being here, Marsha. I don't think I'm going to do another sprint because I think if I get stuck into the, I don't want to get stuck into the High Priestess. I just want to sort of let the magician sit in my conscious and then subconscious. But yeah, is there anything anybody wanted to chat about for a little while? Because I'm happy to stay on for a little bit longer. It's not my bedtime quite yet. Almost, but not quite. I'm filming some videos tomorrow. I'm going to go around and see Mum and Dad. Don't worry, I'll be wearing masks. We'll all be wearing masks and it'll be just from over the fence so I can pat poor old Henry. Poor baby. I'm getting these stupid immunotherapy injections mostly so I can play with Henry and Heidi. I don't know how much longer I don't know. I don't want to talk about that, but oh, I love that dog. He took so good care of me when I was not well. Because, you know, I'd go around and stay at Mum and Dad's. And he'd like just come in and check on me all the time. He just, you know what animals are like. He was just, Heidi's a beautiful dog too, but she's just much more anxious. So she's not as like in tune. Like if I'm depressed, she's more like, what did I do wrong? I'm sorry. Whereas Henry's like, Katey's not well. I'm going to take care of her, you know? He was just the best creature in the world. And yeah, I want him to be around forever. I'll have to catch the replay to hear about your tarot break. Yeah. I don't know that it'll be that interesting, but sort of chatted about it a little bit. Ooh, I'm just hitting the camera now. I want to put my feet up. Dogs are so good. They are. Our beautiful poodles. So I'm going to go and visit them so that I can, I don't know. I feel like I've hardly seen not only my parents, but the dogs in the last 2 years. So I want to see him. I'll make more of an effort to get over there, which is probably good for me too, because I've just not been getting out of the house enough, and like going for walks and getting some sunshine is very important, and I just haven't been doing it. So, oh, I'm gonna cry now, because the other thing that was a big part of my recovery journey was when I was out of hospital, but I still wasn't able to work. Like it was sort of this liminal phase where I was like not well enough to go back to real life, but I was not sick enough to be in hospital. And it really was just about like doing things, small things daily to support myself getting better. And I can't remember when it was, but like we knew that the dogs were good for me and that walking was good for me. But when you're depressed as hell, like there's no motivation to actually like walk all the way to your parents' house to get the dogs to go for a walk, you know? And then Mum, the genius that she is, came up with such a good idea. Yes, they're about a 20-minute walk, so like not a short walk. And so like by the time I got to the dogs, then I felt like I had to walk the dogs a lot. You know what I mean? It doesn't sound like much, but when you're depressed, like it was a lot to think about. Anyway, Mum came up with this system where she would leave, it was $10, that's right, $10 in a little like container near my parents, near the dog's leashes. And she'd just top it up whenever, but she'd never mention it. And basically I could just go around, and if I walked the dogs, it didn't matter if I walked them literally up the street and back or if I took them for an hour. I could take that $10 and then mum would top it up. But she'd never question me if I'd been, like if I hadn't been for a week or 2 weeks, she'd never like, you haven't walked the dogs. It was just very, you know, and because I couldn't work, like that helped me pay for my health insurance. And it was just that little bit of feeling like I was achieving something every day. I don't know, like it was just a small thing, but that was such a brilliant thing on mum's behalf, because it meant that I would get out and walk the dogs, and I was outside and I'd end up walking them more often than not. I'd go for a big walk, and like I did that for like 12 months, maybe even longer, and that was like the best. Like there's meds and there's therapy and then there's walking the dogs, and I feel like it was so good for me. So I spent so much time with those dogs when I wasn't well, and like they, along with mum and Blair obviously and dad, they were like a massive piece of me getting better. Oh. I grew up with a poodle and now I'm a mama to a spaniel. Lovely. I do love poodles. I wish I could get my husband a dog. I think it would be fantastic for his health. Dogs are so good, but I know not everybody can have them. And yeah, we're in an apartment and I don't really want to have a dog in here. I know I'm really starting to feel this lockdown, Katie. I'm a pretty strong woman, but I'm not afraid to say this time around is hitting me hard, definitely. I hope you're okay, Michelle, but I think you're not alone in that feeling. I know we had a little like family live chat with like our cousins today, and like they were saying the same thing. Mum said the same thing. I'm feeling it, but like I just put it down to the fact that I'm like maybe not as, I was going to say strong, that's not true, maybe not as resilient as other people. But I think a lot of us are. I think the fatigue's really hitting in. And I think especially because those numbers aren't going down, it's sort of like there's not even that satisfaction, is there? So I totally get you, and I hope you're doing okay. I used to have rats. I love rats. I always wanted rats, but I'm allergic to them too. I'm allergic to everything. I didn't realize this is what a journal chat was. It's been good to have company while doing house stuff, even though through a quiet screen. Thanks for sharing this live tonight. No worry, Kaz. Yeah, normally with the reading ones, we did do a lot more reading than talking. But today, I'm in a chatty mood. So yeah, they're very flexible. You know me, I'm not too structured with anything. I wanted to be out of the cage playing, smuggling, stealing your food. Oh, rats, right. Right. I thought you meant you, and I was really confused. Sorry. The rats, yes. Lovely. Oh no, I totally understand that. There were times where walking to the bathroom was too much. Yeah, totally. And when you were sick, they would just snuggle up against you. Oh, cute. Pets make the world of difference. They do. It resonates so much with me, so much. I do small things like buy myself a coffee or a book when I manage to leave the house. Totally. I think we just gotta, I don't know, any opportunity to like pat ourselves on the back, you know? It's so important. And whatever we have to do, whatever we can do to make what is good for us worthwhile, or like convince ourselves to do what is good for us. Like, totally. Katie, thank you for sharing this. Totally, so massive. Oh, thanks, Marsha. Rats are so social and intelligent, really tiny dogs. They destroy a lot of stuff. Nice. Glad you had the dogs, Mum and Dad. Yeah, I'm very lucky, I know that. Especially because like my parents moved here when I got sick. Like they were sort of thinking at the time, they were like, oh, we want to move to Brisbane or maybe Melbourne at some time in the next few years. And then when I got sick, they were like, we're going to Melbourne. So yeah, it was huge to have them here to support. And then my brother came, and now my whole little family's here. The sixth, yeah. You're not alone in this, sending all my love. Yes, Michelle. Our numbers are bouncing all over the damn place in New South Wales, for sure, Amy. My family that we were talking to today is in Griffith. So, like central New South Wales, but they've been very lucky. I don't think they've had any cases. I don't know about recently, but I know like they've had to be in lockdown until, was it yesterday? For this period, but they've been able to have most of the last 2 years haven't been too different for them. But in other areas in New South Wales, it's rough. Eyeing a very tomorrow. I had to cancel some activities today. I don't have that much energy either. Yeah. That's okay too. I think you have to be kind to yourself. I'm so glad your family has been safe. Yes. We're all almost vaccinated now too. I'm done, Mum's done, Dad's done now. Tiffany's done, my sister-in-law. She's not technically yet, but she is. Because she's a doctor, so she got it a bit earlier. And then my brother and Blair don't have underlying health conditions and they're, you know, young men. So they've only just, I think they've both had their first one now. So I will feel a little easy, like rest a little easier at night when they're done, personally. But yes, we're all good. I do need to blow my nose again. Hold on. I was gonna turn it off. That's not right. I got mine early but was fighting to get one. Yeah, I got mine, I was in the 1B category. So there was 1A for like the elderly and people in aged care and disability care and like frontline workers. And then 1B was for vulnerable people like outside of those groups. And I was considered in that. But yeah, I had a rough time getting it and then had some good old-fashioned discrimination when I did get there. But yeah, it's been hard. Getting vaccine out everywhere is... It's been hard in Australia. We definitely don't have enough vaccine. Or, I mean, we do, but we don't anyway. That's complex. But around the world, like this thing is going to keep going on for so long because so much of the world doesn't have access to vaccines yet, which is terrible. I'm almost all better, but still can't taste or smell at all. Oh, that's right, Veronica. Oh, well, I'm glad you're feeling better, but I really hope that you are able to eat all your favourite food very soon. Have that big feast we spoke about. Even when it was only the 3rd vaccination moment that went through. I'm not sure what that's about, I'm sorry. Katie, thank you for these regular live chats. It helps having someone in the same city, makes me feel not so alone. Yeah. Well, thank you for coming along because it's giving me the same. I definitely, like, I mean, you saw how I was at the beginning. A lot of you was here. I wasn't doing so well. I mean, I was safe, but you know, I was a bit bummed, a bit down. So it does the same for me. I'm in South Australia, so we've been fortunate. I'm booked in to be vaxxed in the next 2 weeks, but I've had the booking for 2 months because it was the earliest they could do. Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Or it's difficult and it's a strange world. Blair had his first one, which was a Pfizer, but he supposed to have Pfizer in like 3 to 5 weeks, the second dose, but he couldn't book his in until 7 weeks because they just didn't have any second dose bookings. But anyway. I just hope that once everybody is vaxxed, or most of the people, that the virus dies out. Yeah, I don't really know how that'll work. They seem to think that it won't, but that hopefully we'll get better at handling it. My immunocompromised hubby is booked in for his first vax in the next couple of weeks, so 3 needles for him. Ah, okay, but I'm glad he's finally getting started. Good, good. And we don't end up with more variants. Oh, goodness. Yes, no, please none of that. Oh, yeah. I expect a few years of booster shots. Yeah, I think so. I mean, I say yeah like I know. I don't know. But it seems that way from, yeah. I have my Hobonichi that I still use this one. I didn't get to use this one much this year because like this is my in my bag appointments one. I wasn't going anywhere, was I? So another one of those wasted. I've ordered my next year. That seems optimistic, but what are you gonna do? But I'm filming tomorrow. I think I'll film in the morning and then I'll go visit Mum and Dad and Henry and Heidi. And Harry the cat too. He doesn't care as much about me, that's okay. I'm just gonna start my Keep or Cull. Although I said this before, I want to change the name, I think, from my Keep or Cull series. I don't think that really describes well enough what the series is about. Like, unless you watch it, I don't think it's clear by the title what you're going to get going in. Does that make sense? And I also sort of feel like it puts too much emphasis on something that literally only happens in the last 2 minutes of a 35-minute video. Like, that's not what the video is. It happens at the end. So I'm thinking maybe like just a working with series, like working with the Spacious Tarot, working with the Star Spinner, or just like tarot in practice, or something like tarot IRL. Does anybody have any thoughts? Any other options? Because I love that series, but I just don't think the Keep or Cull name is really working, is like clear. Not sure if that made sense. I only sort of decided today that I want to rebrand it. But I'm sure I'll probably talk more about that at some stage. It's not going to change like the setup of the videos because I really like those videos. I'm enjoying them. A lot of you are seeming to give me very good feedback on those too, which I very much appreciate. Sarah left the nicest comment too on that video. Happy to hear you're feeling better, Veronica. Yes. I've ordered my next Hobonichi. I'm getting the Sunshine Weeks Mega. I'm a chunky Hobonichi user, so I kind of like that my diary is filled with words and paintings. Nice. I just ordered, I was so tempted to get a new cover, especially the Animal Crossing one, and there was another really cute one, but I really like this. I know it's just the green one, but like the covers are pretty expensive, and I don't know, I kind of like the idea that I have the same cover. I'm sure I will cave 1 year and get something new, but I still really like my cover. So I just got a new book, although I'm going to try the international one this time. I think I ordered, so that it's got the days as well on the pages, although I do like the colours of this one. And then I did order new weeks. I think I got the blue one that has the little something on it, I forget now. And then I think I got some pens or some stickers or something. I didn't get a huge amount. I'm always tempted to. I nearly got a new book for my 5-year journal because I stopped filling this one out again. But as I was gonna buy it, it's like $50 and it's so much paper wasted. I felt bad, and I was like, you know what? No, this is your second one. Just pick up where you left. Like, okay, so there's gonna be a few months that are empty for this year. You got the rest of this year and 4 more years. It's fine. So I'm back on this for now. I don't know how long that'll last. I don't seem to be very good at sticking with it. Although it's been hard in lockdown and everything, because it's like, what am I going to write today? I stayed at home again today. The end. Like, I'll just put like as above every day. See yesterday. I think they all sound good, but maybe tarot in practice because it sounds really professional. You do a deep dive with the decks, then decide you're going to keep it or not. Yes. That's the Keep or Cull. But I think I want to change the name so it's a little bit, because most of the video is like literally the working with the deck. And I also want it to be, like, I want to be able to work with a favorite deck in that way. Like, I'm not going to get rid of a favorite deck. I'm just not. It's not a Keep or Cull then, but it's still the same structure and format. It's like a tarot reading vlog. Like, that's where I got the idea, is that I've been doing like reading vlogs over on my other channel where I like read the books and walk through, like film it as I go, as I read. So that's where I got the idea, just to like do the same with tarot. And I've had the idea for a while, and then when I came back, it just sort of felt like the right time. And I do like the Keep or Cull element. So I'm going to keep that up for decks that it's applicable for, but I still just want to be able to, you know, do the tarot reading vlog without the sort of pressure. I also sort of think, I don't know, I know I got rid of the first, like I culled the first deck that we did that with, but I've kept the last two, and I don't want to start feeling like, oh, it's really time I culled one and that influenced my decision, you know? So maybe that's a little part of it too. I love tarot in practice. Okay, thank you. The techo seems intimidating, all that white space. I really like them, but I think that's part of why I didn't like the cousin, is because it was too much, too big. I found that the smaller one really works for me. But are you working with them, these decks, to decide if you're going to keep them or not? So I am. That was the original intention, but I don't want to confine the series to just that. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I want to spend a couple of weeks with the Sasarai Beto, I think that that same format would still be really good. But I'm not gonna get rid of the Sasarai Beto, you know? I gave up on the hobo and I'm back to a bullet journal. Midori notebooks, nice. Sometimes I do miss the bullet journal, but I'm enjoying my Hobonichi for now, so I think you just got to go with whatever works, hey? Sometimes the deck is grumpy. Some decks don't speak to you. Yeah, for sure. Do or Die is the title. I like that, but I think that that's just sort of renaming the Keep or Cull. Like, I want to sort of reframe, like, because the Keep or Cull aspect of the video only happens at the very end. The majority of the video is me working with it, doing spreads, doing exercises, talking about my interpretations. Like, that's the video. Like, that's what you're going to get when you click on it. Do you know what I mean? And I don't feel like Keep or Cull sums up the overall experience of watching the video. Does that make sense? So although Do or Die is very punchy, it's very effective. I don't think it's quite what I'm after for this, but thank you. Good idea though. I really like my Midori because it handles my fountain pens well, but then I have never tried the Hobonichi. I've had really good experiences with the Hobonichi with fountain pens, and that's one of the positives of the Hobonichi is the paper. I don't always use fountain pens because I do also just like ballpoint pens, but fountain pens work great in Hobonichi. Tarot reading vlog. I've been wanting to do something like that. Yes, well that's what my series is. Oh, you answered my questions before you got to them. No worries. I'll just explain myself a few times for you. Yeah, I'm not very good at keeping up with the chat. I'm sorry about that. Yes, so that's the idea of the videos. I don't know if you've seen them. Sort of like a little tarot diary. So like, as I'm going to do a reading, I'll turn the camera on. I'll be like, I'm doing a reading for this. I'll shuffle the cards, pull the cards and be like, this is the interpretations I'm getting. This is how I'm going to, like, what I'm going to do or whatever from the reading. And I do a few of those. And then at the end, I sort of do a mini deck review or like a review based on that experience. And I have also been deciding whether I'm going to keep the deck or not. So that's the basic framework. Yes, the Tomoe, is it Tomoe? I've heard Tomoe, Tomo. I've heard some, I don't know how to, but yes, the river paper. It's so nice. I mostly gave up one card a day because too much detail makes things granular and life is an adventure. Yes. Yeah, I like just pulling random cards just for funsies, you know? But I also don't like just drawing cards all the time. Tomoe. That was bad, I'm sorry. I'm really bad with pronunciations. I have to sort of like hear something a few times and I have to like practice it with my mouth. Like that book by Anita Heiss, Billy Yaradungalungdarai. I can say it now. I had to listen to her pronouncing it slowly. Like I slowed down the video. And I was sitting there for like half an hour. Billy Yara Dunga Lung Darai. Billy Yara Dunga, like over and over and over and over again until I got it. And now I've got it, so it's fine. No, you were super close. Yes. Boho Tarot does these working with inserts deck name videos, but hers are more like wrap-ups. Ah, okay, good. Thank you for letting me know. I won't use that title then. I don't watch a lot of Boho Tarot. I should though, because her videos are great. I watched yours. Ah, yes. You keep saying working with in your explanation, so I say go with that. I love how I say one thing just as like you're typing. Yeah. I do think like working with is clear, but I don't want to like nick Boho Tarot's name. That seems a bit... maybe I'll have to do a bit of a search. I just was sort of like sitting on the couch thinking about this today, and I was like, I think it's time for me to switch up that branding. Branding's a bit of a strong word for what I do, but you know what I mean. I'll have a think about it. I might do a poll. We'll see. You know me, I love polls. The community tab is so fun these days with all those polls. Boho Tarot's mod with me are fantastic. Ooh, fun. Katie, I just found you yesterday. It's so cool to find an Aussie on YouTube reading tarot. Can I ask a reading question? Hello, welcome. It's lovely to have you. I'm not doing readings though, so no, I'm sorry. I'm just chatting. We've been sort of reading and journaling together, and now I'm just hanging out. Maybe spending time with? Yeah, maybe. That's a good one. Let me add it to my list. I've got a little list going of a few different ideas. Not many. Thank you. Okay, I love journals and journaling and stationery. Tomoe, river paper, I love, but I got annoyed by how easily the pages get wrinkled. Yes, that's true. And I did notice that more with the cousin. I think just because the page is so much bigger. It doesn't bother me so much with these smaller ones, but that's just a personal thing. But I totally get what you mean. Yeah. This has been all over the place, this live, but it's been so fun just chatting with you and hanging out. And I'm in such, like, so much of a better mood. So thank you all so much. I just feel it in my bones. I'm going to have a good day tomorrow now. So thank you. I'm hard on my journals, so just leaning on it. Yes, that does happen. That's for sure. That's fair. Definitely. I'm not precious, but yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. No worries, you've more than likely answered it in a video I'm yet to discover. Oh, is it a question about reading? Because you're welcome to ask me something like that. I thought you meant you wanted a reading done. Does that make sense? So I'm not doing readings in this live, but if you have a question for me, like, should I read reversals? Something like if it's more like about how to use tarot, I'm happy to see if I have anything to say on that. Can't promise that I will. My cousin just bought me the Onion Skin Journal. Definitely gonna have the same problem. Onion Skin Journal. What a name, Onion Skin. It's a very, very vivid imagery. Any experience with a deck that never worked with you? Yes, I've had a few. The Nigel Jackson was one. I loved the artwork of that deck. Like, I went out of my way to get that because it was out of print. That's actually how I ended up, I don't know if anybody remembers, years ago, I ended up meeting this older lady who'd been reading tarot since like the 60s or 70s. And she had boxes of decks that she wanted to get rid of. And so she sold them all to me for a ridiculously low price. So that's how I went from having like 10 decks to like 50 decks, like overnight. But when I got the Nigel Jackson from her, that was the deck I went to her to get. and it felt like it was giving me the cold shoulder. Like it didn't like me. That's how I know I sound ridiculous with how much I personify decks, but that's how my experience was, right? It just felt like it was like the snotty too cool girl who was just like, whatever. Like, I was like, okay, but so I just couldn't get anything out of that. And then the Wild Unknown, and to be honest, just a lot of animal decks. I just don't. I've done a whole video on why I just don't connect with animal decks generally. And I think that ultimately has a lot to do with like the assumed associations for animals, where it's like, you know, if the owl is supposed to mean certain things and has certain connotations, but like those are very culturally specific. They're not like the owl is not inherently a symbol of wisdom. Like that is a cultural understanding of what the owl means. Do you know what I mean? And so I don't know whether it's being in Australia, being in the Southern Hemisphere, not being connected to a lot of these animals that are depicted in a lot of these decks. They don't make a lot of sense to me. Like all of that sort of those layers of symbolism I'm not aware of. So when I draw a bear, like I don't know anything about bears. I've never seen a bear, you know? So yeah, animal decks are the other things that just don't, like I think they're beautiful, but they just don't do a lot for me in terms of reading, generally. There are a few exceptions. How do you feel about the Dreams of Gaia Tarot? I just bought it a few days ago and I'm excited to get into it. Well, I had a really interesting experience with the Dreams of Gaia, and I've actually done a video on the deck. To me, it feels like the height of the Australian summer. It feels like bushfire season. It's intense, it's elemental. I have not used it much in a long time, but I had some really intense, really good experiences with it. I do think you have to sort of go to it in a very open way. I sort of decided quite early on that I didn't want to rely too heavily on the guidebook. I know some people say the guidebook's incredible, but I just didn't want... I found personally just having quite an intuitive response to the cards, was almost using it as an oracle. Obviously, it is a tarot deck. There's a lot of elements of tarot in it, at least. So I haven't used it in a long time. I don't know how much longer it'll stay in my collection, but I have done a video on it because I think it's a really powerful, interesting, unique deck. And I think it's perfect for the Australian summer. Like, that is what Australian summer feels like to me, is the Dreams of Gaia. I'm not sure where I was up to, so if I skip anybody, I'm sorry. Yes, wondering how to avoid cold reading. I've just started reading tarot and wonder if I'm subconsciously doing it. I'm not sure what you mean by cold reading. I always thought of cold reading as if you don't have a question, like you don't know anything about the person you're reading for. So I don't understand, I'm sorry. Aussies only have koalas, yeah. I struggle with certain correspondences like that too, a bit like specific Pantheon-based decks. Yes, it's like if you... Elisa's still here, hi. Yeah, like if you don't know much about like the Greek gods, a Greek mythology deck isn't going to do much for you. I mean, maybe the imagery can be nice and maybe you can sort of draw your own conclusions from it, but you're not going to have that same interaction that was intended, I guess. I've cracked open the Dreams of Gaia. I seem to open it every spring, summer. Yes, yes. They did make a gummy bear deck. I don't see how that works either. I got that deck. I think I got it, was it from a trade or did I find it? I feel like I found it at Savers or something. And it was fun. It was just a Rider-Waite Smith clone, but with gummy bears instead. I didn't keep it for long, but it was just a silly bit of fun. I know what you mean about the whole northern animals being all over tarot, and it's just like, okay, I like Orions because there's a good mix of both. I haven't really spent much time looking at the Orions, but it looks really pretty. I think the only animal deck I've sort of clicked with, and I haven't really done readings, it's just looking at the images and they make sense to me, is the Children of Litha. But that rose petal cardstock is the worst. Fun fact about reading, sometimes you don't even have to pull cards and just know the answer already. Yeah. I find the wisdom of owls very funny because they are not intelligent birds. They are brilliant hunters. I know. I know. I think that's why, like, when people talk about it as if those symbols or those associations are inherent to the thing, like how people talk about like the moon, you know, like gendering the moon and the sun, even though like, and they talk about it as if the moon is feminine, as if the moon is these things. It's like, no, it's a hunk of rock in the sky. And yes, we do have some really beautiful associations with it, but those are very culturally specific. Like I've given the example before that there are some, I think it's throughout the world, there's different cultures that associate it, the moon as a masculine like entity. And there's lots of cultures that don't associate it with gender. So I'm fine with people associating things. I wish we wouldn't do so much of the gendered stuff, but I'm fine with people having associations. I just don't like it when we talk about them as if they are like inherent to the thing, as if it is part of its true essence, rather than having an awareness of the fact that it's instead a human overlay, a human interpretation, a human interaction with the world. Like those things exist outside of us. They don't exist just for us. I don't know. I don't care if people have associations. I just don't like that people talk about them as if they're true, they're factual. And I feel like some decks rely on that too heavily for me to get along with them personally. Does that make sense? I drew low key. Seems the day is positive to you. Sorry, I must have missed something. I'm not quite sure. The Orion's Tarot was a must buy for me as it's a Melbourne art. Is it? Okay, now I'm more interested. I am more interested now. I recently got the Afro-Brazilian Tarot, but it's low Scarabeo, so no explanation for the minor arcana in the little white book. Yeah. I love it so much, but wow, Rockpool is wrecking it. What? What's Rockpool wrecking? Rockpool's usually pretty good. What are they doing? LaMayo, it's a hunk of rock in the sky. It's true, I don't know what to tell you. I purchased the mini and large. Thankfully, we'll not get Rockpool version, but we'll be watching. Oh, so Rockpool's picked it up, have they? Ah. Feminine and masculine energy to the moon and sun is never vibed. Yeah, no, I don't like it. I mean, I'm not going to tell people what they can and can't do. I just don't like it. I'm just repeating myself now. Like the overemphasis on binary, I understand why some people connect to it, but I think it's limiting, it's small-minded. And then on top of that, just acting, like talking as if it's true. Like, I don't know. Like, just stop it. I see all those non-binary or totally genderless, all genders, but yeah, hunk of rock is the best description. Yeah, exactly. Yep, I hate it so much. Oh. Yep. I got a bit ranty there, sorry friends. You know me, I go that way pretty quickly. I think it's fun to talk about things. I like having chats. As a trans tarot reader, I personally think the whole gender bias thing is bull. Absolutely. Yeah, it does. It bothers me that it's still so prevalent in so much of the language around tarot, especially. It came up in both of my unpopular opinions videos. I was reacting to viewers' unpopular opinions, and both times I was like, let me rant on this for a few minutes. Just let me go, let me go. Because it's just, whenever I see that in books or anything, it's so dated. Like, I think people have been challenging it for a long time, but I think that's one of the, you know how we look back on books and decks and stuff, and there's things that are like glaringly dated and almost embarrassing and cringy. I feel like the gendered stuff it's getting there. It's getting there. I think that'll be one thing that, yeah. that'll be one thing we look back on and go like, oh, why were we doing that? I dislike the changes that Rockpool is making to the Orions, and I gave feedback to the artist to pass on to Rockpool. Interesting. I'll have to have a look at that, Amy. Like I said, I wasn't overly attracted to the deck. One, because it's like that dark background. I don't have a lot of decks that are like sort of dark imagery because I can't see it. I can't make out the details. I don't know what's wrong with me. I tend to prefer brighter imagery, brighter backgrounds, because I struggle to make out details when things are quite dark. And then plus it was animal deck, so I saw those two things quite quickly and was like, oh, that's not a deck for me, I'll keep scrolling, you know? The worst tarot decks are probably those made when games create extra stuff for $300 box, so they add a tarot deck with images of characters of said game. I haven't seen that so much, but yeah. I think whenever there's like, just sort of like ham-fisting already existing things into tarot, I mean, every now and then it goes well, but more often than not, it just feels a bit clumsy, doesn't it? I say worse because the images and meanings that never connect. Yeah. MB here, and oh my god, the gender stuff, make it stop. Yes. Now you have me so curious about what they've done. I know, me too. I'm gonna have to look into that tomorrow. I'm very curious. But friends, it is getting close to midnight and I'm all riled up. I'm very awake because I've had so much fun talking to you. It's been a pleasure. And I would happily stay here much longer, but sleep is the most important thing for almost everyone, but especially if you have bipolar. So I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. This has been one of my favorite lives. I know it wasn't particularly directional or whatever, but not directional, that's not the word I mean. You know, whatever. It was a little all over the place, but I just really enjoyed spending time with you. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And like I said, you've all cheered me up a lot. I'm feeling a lot better and I'm ready to have a good week, film some good videos for you. I hope you like them. Hopefully I'll get to read a bit. Thank you all for hanging out and take care, hey? I'll talk to you soon. Bye everybody. I don't know how to end it on my phone. Give me a sec. Okay, bye.